Before I get started with my upsets predictions, and while I wait for a couple of people to come online, um, I'm launching something new on the channel. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be on the standard videos. Um, yeah, it's something new. I think you guys, yeah, it'll be out tomorrow, and I'm still deciding the consistency of um, uploads. Currently, I'm sitting at maybe once a week because of the amount of work that it takes to actually do those videos. But if I see, the numbers, telling me to actually do more, I'll consider doing more. But yeah, new content tomorrow. I'm excited. I don't like announcing things I haven't done editing because I know the editing is gonna be heavy. So a lot. Can't wait. Anyway, upsets predictions. I know you guys like these because yeah, the views are crazy on the upsets predictions. So I decided to just start doing them every week. Normally, in the beginning, I just used to do them for pay-per-views. So I just decided to start doing them for fight nights as well. So let me get started. Evan Elder versus Darius Flowers. Um, Elder is a minus 425 favorite, and I mean, Darius Flowers is a plus 330 underdog. Um, I was surprised that they made this fight. I feel like it serves no purpose. But I feel like they are just filling up slots in order to fill up time, like show time. Basically, UFC has to start at this time and end at around this time. So, by probably this is the only reason they added this fight. I feel like Evan Elder will have a massive advantage. I feel like Darius Flowers, the probability of Darius Flowers winning this fight are extremely slim, but it's on short notice, so anything can happen. I don't know specifically what they were both doing in terms of how fit either of them are, but my subscribers and I picked Evan Elder, and I expect him to dominate. So, do I think an upset is possible here? In all honesty, I feel like the probability of an upset here is low, right? But you have to also take into consideration that it's a short notice fight. So even though based it can be affected by the fact that they were out of camp. I'm not particularly sure as to whether Evans or Flowers had a fight upcoming, so maybe it might impact the outcome in some way. But to path for victory for Flowers. But the safest thing to do would be to stay away from this fight because of the short notice. Unless if you can verify that, what do you call him? Elder was actually training, then it's fine. But if you can't verify that, just stay away from this one. Jackson versus Damon Blackshear. Montel Jackson is a minus 150 favorite, and Damon Blackshear is a plus 125 underdog. Um, my subscribers and I went with Montel Jackson. Let me see. In all honesty, I honestly don't know why people are picking Damon Blackshear. Based on my research, I don't feel like this fight is gonna be close. I get it. I get it. I mean, Damon Blackshear has an incredible ground game. I mean, he looked good against Mario Bautista, and I think he was coming in on short notice in that fight. So it makes sense why maybe people are picking him. But in this particular fight, I feel like, and also has faced a little bit better competition. So that's a little bit understandable to some extent. But I feel like Montel Jackson is not too bad. Even on the ground, I mean, I don't expect him to grapple with Damon Blackshear. it would be stupid, and I don't think Montel Jackson is that dumb. So the best path for victory for Montel Jackson is on the feet. However, I don't feel like he's going to allow the fight to get to the ground. Because I mean we know what Blackshear can do on the ground. I saw some footage of Blackshear training. His striking looks good, but I mean striking always looks good in training. It's a lot more different in the actual fight. But as far as an upset happening here, I mean it's Blackshear, but I'm not. I honestly feel like this is one of the fights that I feel a little bit confidently about, but largely because of the fact that Blackshear is also a young prospect. Um, yeah, I mean, I hear you, Adrian, but for me, the only thing that I would say I had Montel and switch to Damon. Okay, Adrian, then please tell me why did you switch to Damon? Because for me, Damon Blackshear, I feel like that's not gonna be easy to do, and I feel like he's gonna get pissed up on the feed. Um, I honestly can't see Damon Blackshear winning this fight. The only reason I would tell people to stay away from this fight is because obviously because Blackshear is also a hungry, upcoming prospect. So because of that, I mean the probability, but the probability of an upset is there. But I feel like Montel Jackson is a favorite for a reason, right? So in conclusion, I feel like the probability of an upset is there, significantly high. I feel pretty confidently about Montel Jackson winning, despite the fact that a lot of people are saying, well, this guy hasn't fought that many competition. A lot of people have been making that argument about a couple of fighters, even the main event. It hasn't made sense to me why people like to make that um, comparison, because for the most part, if you look at Sean O'Malley, how many veterans had he beaten when he fought Aljamain Sterling? Like he had beaten like two. Ilya Tuporia, how many veterans had he beaten before he fought Alexander Volkanovski? I think it was Bryce Mitchell, and then like there wasn't that many. There wasn't that many. What do you call it? Veterans that he actually beat. That would then warrant people saying, "Well, you have to beat a veteran in order to be able to climb up the ranks." I don't feel like it works that way. So for me personally, I'll get to the Tracy Cortez versus Rose Namajunas fight. I have some strong opinions on that. If maybe you haven't, um, if you haven't, what do you call it? If you haven't seen my final predictions. Uh, so yeah, for the most part, I don't know if there's going to be an upset here, but I mean anything can happen. But my subscribers and I went with Montel Jackson. On to the next one, Josh Fremd versus Andre Petrosky. Josh Fremd is surprisingly a minus 125 favorite, and Andre Petrosky is a plus 105 underdog. I think an upset is possible here. I mean, Petrosky is unreliable, but I think he should win this fight pretty dominantly. But again, he's unreliable, so it would be just safer to just avoid this kind of fight because of the unreliability of Andre Petrosky. So despite the fact that I don't feel like an upset is possible, I mean Andre Petrosky has been knocked out in the most stupidest ways. So I feel confidently, but I think you should just avoid this particular fight. But my subscribers and I went with Andre Petrosky on this one. On to the next one, Luana Santos versus Maria Agapova. Hopefully, I pronounced her name properly. Luana Santos is a minus 275 favorite, and Maria is a plus 225 underdog. Do I think an upset is possible here? It's women's MMA, so anything is possible. But I feel like there are so many things outside the octagon that are affecting Maria Agapova. So it's difficult to actually determine or to tell how she's going to perform. If you are not aware of what's happening outside the octagon, basically it seems like Maria Agapova has some financial issues. There's some drug abuse somewhere in between. Allegedly, this is not confirmed. So I'm not sure how that's going to play into her fight. She might be a little bit more determined because she wants to get out of that situation, or alternatively, this whole situation might potentially affect her negatively to the extent that she doesn't even perform well in the fight. My guess is she's probably not going to perform that well because of everything that has been happening outside the octagon. And even apart from that, I feel like even if Maria Agapova was well prepared and was not having all these issues outside of the octagon, I still would have picked Luana Santos. I feel like she's the better fighter. Um, she's a little bit more well rounded. It would have been a little bit closer if it wasn't for some of the elements outside the octagon. But nonetheless, for me personally, I would go with, or rather, my subscribers and I went with, there's some annoying kids behind me, like they're trying to get my attention. I'm so fucking irritated. Like, whew, like there's these backdoor neighbors who are just irritating the living shit out of me. They're throwing rocks and doing all these things, and I try to move away. So I apologize if maybe I am stuttering or doing all these things. I'm just trying to keep my composure so that I can finish all of this and so that I can move from the spot that I'm at because they are irritating the living shit out of me. I don't want to lie. Anyway, um, my subscribers and I went with Luana Santos. I feel pretty confidently that she's going to win this particular fight. Van versus Charles Johnson. Wait, did I tell you about whether or not I think an upset is possible here? Once again, I don't think that the probability of an upset is possible here. Well, it is possible, but it's low. But because it's women's MMA, it's a coin flip. No, no, not a coin flip. I apologize for that. There is a possibility purely because it's women's MMA, but I feel pretty confidently that Luana is going to win this one. Joshua Van versus Charles Johnson. Van is a minus 190 favorite, and Charles Johnson is a plus 160 underdog. Surprised if Van somehow knocks out Charles Johnson. I feel pretty confidently that Van is going to dominate everywhere. Um, However, I don't know. I don't know if the reach is going to play a factor in this particular fight, but I feel pretty confidently that Joshua Van is going to win this fight. Um, I was skeptical of pricking him in his previous fight. I think I forgot the guy he was fighting. He's Islam's teammate, and I feel like that guy is a harder fight than Charles Johnson. So I feel pretty confidently that Joshua Van is going to win this one. So do I think an upset is possible here? Nah, man. It's MMA. Anything can happen, but I wouldn't. I don't think an upset is going to happen here. On to the next one. Jasmine Jasu Davicius versus Fatima Klein. Um, Jasmine is a plus 110 underdog, and Fatima is a minus 130 favorite. My subscribers went with Jasmine. I went with Fatima Klein. Um, I think an upset is possible here. I think the fight is going to be a coin flip. It's going to be pretty close because I feel like uh, when it comes to experience, right? I think it favors Jasu Davicius. But when it comes to skill, in my opinion, um, I think Fatima Klein wins that one. Um, Jassie Defisi is ranked in the women's pound for pound worldwide. And then Fatima Klein is ranked in the women's pound for pound significantly higher, but in the regional division, right? So both of them are very skilled. One of the main reasons, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I was analyzing this fight, it was dead even, right? So I had to make a decision on who to pick. And for me personally, I felt like Fatima Klein will be a little bit hungrier. She's young, I think. Jasmine is like 35. So I think she is a little bit hungrier. She's a bit younger, so she's going to be aggressive in how she approaches the fights, or rather the fight. That's probably the main reason why I went with Fatima Klein. Between the both of them, I felt like Fatima will be a little bit hungrier. But in terms of analysis, I can tell you that it was a literal coin flip for me. It was 50-50. So it can go either way. So the best thing to do would just be to stay away from this one, especially because it's a women's fight. So anything can happen. It's unpredictable. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends in in a coin flip. I mean, in a split decision. So yeah, an upset is definitely possible here. On to the next one. Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Cody Brandage. Abdul Razak is a minus 155 favorite, and Cody Brandage is a plus 130 underdog. Um, my subscribers and I went with Abdul Razak Al Hassan, but an upset is definitely possible here. A part of me, when I was doing my analysis, I wanted to pick Cody Brandage. Like, I wanted to pick Cody Brandage, but I've taught myself to follow my analysis, irrespective of what my personal opinions, irrespective of what my personal opinions are about. Analysis that I created has served me really well, especially since UFC 300. Like, my results have been incredible. Obviously, I don't always perform exceptionally well, but if you look at my results, especially from UFC 300, when it comes to pay-per-views, I perform exceptionally well. UFC 300, I think I repeat this a lot, but I think UFC 300, I only got two or three wrong. 301, I think I got two or three wrong. 302, I got only one wrong. 303, I got like three wrong, yeah, and then I got 10 right. So, and even fight nights in between, I've been performing exceptionally well, especially the fight between Imavov versus Connonier. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to just trust my analysis. And for me, in all honesty, Abdul Razak Al Hassan has the ability to end all that he has, right? If it doesn't end in the first round, I get a little bit worried about him actually winning the fight. And on top of that, Cody Brandage was training for Bo Nickel. He was able to survive up until the second round. Probably, I think it was the longest fight that Bo Nickel started his MMA career. So that should tell you how good Cody Brandage is. But okay, not good. I think that's a stretch, but that should tell you how much he worked on his grappling. However, here's an important thing. That was defensive grappling. It wasn't offensive, right? So maybe people are reading too much. Even me personally, that's one of the reasons why I decided to just allow my analysis to tell me who's going to win. Because maybe we are reading too much into the defensive grappling that Cody Brandage did against Bone Nickel, and we forget that that wasn't offensive. Like, he wasn't taking Bo Nickel down. He wasn't even close to submitting Bo Nickel. Nothing he did was offensive. A lot of what he did was defensive. He was avoiding getting submitted. He was defending takedowns. Like, he was doing all the right things to stay safe and to not get finished. That good defensively, you probably will be able to improve your offensive skills. But the point still remains that that was defensive, right? But on the other hand, Abdul's takedown defense is not that great. So that's one of the reasons why it concerns me, because his takedown defense is horrible, right? Not horrible, but it's not good, man. So honestly speaking, guys, I'm not confident about my pick of Abdul Al Hassan. Um, I think it's a coin flip. So if you want my opinion, an upset is definitely possible here. Um, I think it's 50-50. I wouldn't be shocked if Cody Brandage won this fight. Um, I think there's a high probability that he can actually win this fight. So yeah, an upset is possible here. Rodriguez. Erosa is a plus 210 favorite. People are making too much of Rodriguez moving up. I don't feel like it's that much of a factor into this particular fight. If anything, it's going to give him a little bit more power, because he was getting too many decisions at a lower weight class. I feel like he will be a little bit more powerful. He won't have depleted himself trying to make weight. So there will be a variety of elements that are going to be beneficial to him when he moves up, which essentially means, which I feel like will put him in a position whereby I feel like he'll be significantly better. If he had better cardio than Raul Rosas Jr., and on top of that was cutting, so because it seems like cutting weight is a lot for him. So he still had more cardio than Raul in that fight, and he was cutting that much, I guess. Then you can just imagine how his cardio will be at a higher weight class. I think he will be improved at a higher weight class, in my opinion. People think, well, Erosa might have a shot on the ground. I don't think so, man. If Rosas Jr. couldn't do it, and I know Rosas Jr. is not like a veteran who's seasoned and all this type of, and I feel like if he couldn't do it, uh, I don't know if Rosa is going to do it. So I don't think an upset is that possible here. Anything can happen, but I think Rodriguez definitely wins this one. So yeah, my subscribers and I went with Christian Rodriguez. On to the next one: Gabriel Bonfim versus Angelosa. Bonfim is a minus 400 favorite, and Angelosa is a plus 310 underdog. I think Bonfim should definitely win this fight. I after seeing how Nicholas Dalby performed against the Rinat Fakhretdinov, I feel like you cannot hold it against the Bonfim that he lost it to Dalby. Obviously, you have to be a little bit more durable. But in the beginning of that fight between Dalby and Bonfim, I mean, Bonfim was dominating that fight up until he got tired, right? So the only reason he lost was because of cardio, not skill. So he should win this one, but I mean, that's what I said even on my final predictions. Angelosa might be coming into this fight looking to prove a point, because a lot of people were calling him a couple of things, because he was basically, and even I agree that he was performing in that particular fight in order to avoid going continuing, because he was being beaten in that particular fight, right? Um, so but again, behaved how he behaved in order to get out of that particular fight, and it worked for him. So I feel like he might come into this fight trying to prove a point, and he does have the ability to finish a fight. So I don't know if an upset is possible here, but because of these particular elements, I don't know how Angelosa how that performance affected Angelosa. I don't know if Angelosa went into the gym and said, you know what, I'm going to prove these people wrong, People with that kind of mindset, and I think he's still young enough to actually. I'd stay away from this one. Plus, minus 400, I don't feel like it's worth it, right? But my subscribers and I officially picked Gabriel Bonfim, and I've said I don't know. It is potentially possible, but I don't feel like it's likely. On to the next one. Drew Dober versus Gene Silva. Wow. This is Drew Dober is a minus 110 as well as Gene Silva. It's even, right? The odds are even on this particular fight, which is crazy for me. Um, I don't know. People are busy saying that Gene Silva came in on short notice. I don't understand that logic. This guy was fighting 2 weeks ago. How is it short notice? Like I don't understand that logic because the guy went into camp like and actually won his fight because he was in camp preparing for UFC 303 and he actually won. So how is it short notice because he said home for like 2 weeks like that's out of camp. It doesn't make sense to me because being out of camp means like you haven't been training for a while. Like this guy was in camp probably for like 2 he is not power. His cardio will be a little bit better. Maybe the speed will not be there. But I don't understand why this fight is so close. Um, I feel like Gene Silva will definitely win this one. The only thing that scares me is Drew Dober's power. Obviously, because the guy has power. I mean, the power can change anything. So that's the only thing that concerns me. But I feel like if he can beat the Charles Johnson, I think he's going to be able to be defensively good enough to avoid getting hit by anything significant, right? So I feel pretty confident. I don't think an upset is going to. I mean, it is possible because of Drew Dober's knockout power, right? So anything is possible because of knockout power. But I feel like Gene Silva is good enough. And from an incredible team, look at the fighters that are coming out of Fighting Nerds. Caio Borrallo, Gene Silva, um, Carlos Hernandez. Is it Carlos Hernandez? I forgot his surname. There are so many incredible prospects coming out of that gym, and a lot of them are on long streaks. So I trust not only his skills, but I trust his gym to actually prepare him. And people forget that Drew Dober lost his previous fight because of grappling. And I feel like Gene Silva is a little bit better than Renato Moicano. I feel like Gene Silva can actually submit Drew Dober. So he doesn't have to stand with him, you know? And even if he decides to stand, I feel like Drew Dober will be dangerous to some extent. um, but like I said, I mean, power is power, and it can change everything. But I'm leaning more towards Gene Silva. No, I don't feel like an upset is possible here. The probability of it happening is always there, but I don't feel like it's high. You know. Anyway, my subscribers and I went with Gene Silva. On to the next one: Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikov. My what Santiago is a minus 200 favorite, and Muslim Salikov is a plus 165 underdog. My subscribers went with Ponzinibbio. I went with Salikov. Against my personal opinion. If you've been watching my stream with me, you understand why I went against my personal opinion. I have an analysis, and it has been working really well for me. So I decided to just trust it as opposed to using my own personal opinion to make decisions because in the past it hasn't served me really well. Um, I feel like both of them are old. Both of them are not that great. But skill for skill, I feel like Muslim Salikov is a little bit better. However, the problem is Ponzinibbio has the advantage in terms of age. So for me, this one is a coin flip. The best thing to do is just to stay away from this one. because I feel like it's a coin flip. Either of them could win. Um, in a perfect world, I would have chosen. But you know what? I'm okay with my pick of Salikov, man. I'm good with it because I feel like skill for skill. The only reason I'm doubtful is because he's old, man. Like 40 years at, is it welterweight? Like it's not good, man. To be that age at welterweight. So yeah, an upset is definitely possible here. Definitely. Um, on to the next one. Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Rose is a minus 225 favorite, and the Tracy Cortez is a plus 180 underdog. Ah, I think an upset is definitely possible here. The probability of it happening is extremely high. Um, I said this, I think Arent is a little bit strong. I was arguing my point in my previous live stream for final predictions for this particular fight card. If Tracy Cortez does not get tired because of elevation and all these type of things, I think Tracy Cortez is going to dominate this fight. I've predicted um, a lot of upsets that have happened throughout since last year. Upsets like Dricus Duplessis beating, what do you call him, Robert Whittaker, Sean O'Malley beating Aljamain Sterling, Tom Aspinall beating Sergey Pavlovich. Um, I can't recall the others, but there were so many upsets that I was able to predict, and I feel like this is going to be one of those upsets. I see a lot of people are picking Rosna Mayunas, and a lot of them are basing their opinion on the fact that, well, Rose is a veteran, like she's been champion twice. And what does that even mean? Like, are you saying that there's no prospect that can beat? Like, that's the argument basically that people are making. That, well, Tracy Cortez has not fought anyone good, or has not fought any top contenders, while Rose Namajunas has been champion twice and has beaten Zhang Wei Li, who's dominating right now. What does that even mean? I mean, Rose Namajunas went life and death with Amanda Hebers. Think about that. And I asked my subscribers this question: between Amanda Hebers and Tracy Cortez, who do you think is better? Amanda Hebers was to fight the Tracy Cortez. Who do you think is going to win that fight? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. Once you answer that question, then you will get a little bit of a better picture of how the fight will look on um, on Saturday, right? And it's not even MMA math, right? Um, all I'm saying is I feel like Tracy Cortez, in my opinion, especially against the recent Rose hasn't looked good since she moved up. Rose hasn't looked good since she left Trevor Whitman. She's looked slow, like her finishing abilities. I mean, she hasn't been finishing anyone in a very long time. Her last fight, her last championship fight, like was horrible, and she was like she's proud of herself for her performance. Um, like, I don't know, man. I feel like and on top of that, Tracy Cortez is like on an 11 fight win streak, and people on streaks, especially if they become ranked, they are a little bit more motivated than your average fighter. And on top of that, Tracy Cortez was preparing for Miranda Maverick, right? A lot of I saw a lot of people in the comment section saying, I mean, I think Rose Namajunas is going to submit her. That's not gonna happen. Like, I can honestly guarantee that Rose Namajunas, the only way Rose Namajunas wins this one is by decision. Tracy Cortez was preparing for Miranda Maverick. So definitely her defensive grappling is better at this point, or rather is good. Even if it's not better, but it's good. And then on top of that, in general, like I feel like even though people disagree with what I'm saying, I feel like Tracy Cortez will be able to stand with Rose Namajunas. I think in the to take Rose Namajunas down. I don't think Rose Namajunas will be able to take Tracy Cortez down. In all honesty, if Tracy Cortez does not get tired, I think she's going to dominate. She's going to leave a lot of people shocked. Um, I feel pretty confidently about this. I mentioned this in my previous stream, my final predictions, and I my predictions are some of the best on the predictions from all channels on YouTube. Not all, but like I think there's like 60 channels, and mine was in the top three, right? Of like the most money made, right? From if you had listened to every prediction that I picked, you would have made like I was in the top three of that. So, and I'm not saying that I'm not wrong about this, but I feel very strongly about this. If Tracy Cortez was older, I would be like, I don't know, man. It's a coin flip. But at this point, I feel pretty confidently, and this is coming from me. I'm not that sure about Bonfim. I'm not that sure about. Let me tell you, like the fighters that I'm not that sure. I'm worried for Jin Silva because of Drew Dober's power, right? I'm trying just to explain to you how confidently I feel about this. I'm worried about Jin Silva. Obviously, I still feel like he's going to win, but I'm worried because Drew Dober has knockout power. I'm worried for Gabriel Bonfim because I feel like Angelosa will come in like with a vendetta or something to prove. I'm worried about. Let me see. Luana Santos, even though I'm confident about this one, it could go either way. Andre Petrosky, I'm a little bit concerned. Montel Jackson, even though I feel like he's going to definitely win this one, I'm not as worried about Tracy Cortez, right? If there's any fight, obviously because it's women's MMA, I'm a slightly worried because women's MMA is unpredictable. But in this particular fight, tells me that Tracy Cortez is going to dominate this fight, and a lot of people are going to be shocked. Um, I could be wrong. I might be looking stupid right now, or I might be. I will look like one of the best predictors on in the world, basically. I think, depending on how this goes, I feel pretty confidently. I'm going to react. I do like UFC prediction results, so I take my L's. Even if I was wrong, I will still be back here, and I'll take my L if I was wrong about this. But I feel like the only way I see Tracy Cortez losing this fight is if she gets tired. That's the only acceptable way that I feel like Tracy Cortez is going to lose this fight. I feel like she will be. Just have to wait and see. See you Monday. Tomorrow there's something new I'm doing on the channel. It's going to be what's this? It's going to be something that I'm the standard video section of the channel. Yeah. See you next week. I love and appreciate all of you. Deuces.